So for the actual main weapon, I went with the Rivers of Blood. This seemed to be the most fitting. It has fire damage. Well, and since his first style anyways was water, it kind of just made a bit more sense. Plus, whenever they would get the mark, their weapons would end up turning crimson. So, hey. Another weapon you can actually get before the Rivers of Blood, just have a NewKiDz, have it set to Keen, and put the Ash of War sword dance on. I thought that one, you know, kind of mixed the best because he was using an ability called Dance of the Fire God, Dance of the whatever, you know, it's usually dances. Plus, with this weapon, we're also going to be able to enchant it with the Blood Flame Blade, and then that works considering he would combo with Nezuko and add Blood Flame to his sword. So pretty much get a seal that'll work. I went the Frenzy Flame seal just because it weighs nothing and it's flame, you know, just keeping a bit with the aesthetic with the fire. Now for the armor, the ones I found the best was the Preceptor's Long Gown. This keeps with the Japanese aesthetic as best as possible. Whatever gauntlets that you think will match the best is up to you. I just went with Traveler's Manchets. You can pretty much pick whatever you want though. For the pants, I went with the White Reed Greaves. This matches the chest piece pretty well, and it also kind of matches what they were wearing in the series a bit. For the talismans, you gotta have that Shard of Alexander. You're pretty much using your skills a good often amount. So for the second one, that Lord of Blood's Exaltation is just increasing that attack power with the blood loss and vicinity. And since your weapons are just always doing blood loss, might as well raise attack power, I guess. For that third one, the Fire Scorpion Charm, just raising the fire attack since you're using the Blood Flame. And with the Rivers of Blood, it's doing fire damage, just raising that fire attack just a little bit more, increasing that damage. For the fourth one, that Green Turtle Talisman is really good, raising that stamina recovery speed, just allowing you to get in and out that much more, and allowing you to just be able to do attacks that much more often. For the Flask of Wonders of Zeke, the one you definitely want first is the Flame Shard and Cracked Tear, and that's the one you're not going to want to change out. For the second one, you can pretty much put whatever you want on. I just put Successive Attacks on with the Thorny Cracked Tear. It works, but like I said, you can put whatever you want onto that mix. That's up to you. As I was talking about earlier, with the NewKiDz, you want to have that Blood Flame Blade on. It's just Nezuko giving you that extra buff. It's really good, it's really fun, and also looks really good. For the Great Rune, I just went with Godric's Great Rune. You know, those extra stats are pretty much just there for you if you need it. But really, you don't really need a Great Rune for this build. So for the stats, I have Vigor up at 40. That gives me enough health to pretty much fight anything in PvE. Mind I have at 20. That's enough FP as well to just beat up any boss in the game that I need, especially with, what, 3-4 flasks. On top of that, yeah, you got plenty. Endurance is at 20. This just allows you to have everything on. You probably even go with less than that if you want, but I just wanted a little bit more stamina too. Strength I have at 12. That just pretty much allows me to use the weapons. Dexterity I have at 50, just increasing some of that damage more. And considering now both weapons are going off of Arcane entirely, it's good to pump up that dexterity some for the NewKiDz. Faith is just at 12 to be able to use that incantation for the Blood Flame Blade. And Arcane at 65 to pump up that damage for the Rivers of Blood. And to pump up that bleed. And I would say after level 150, just to get that Arcane capped out, Dexterity capped out, and then just go Vigor, Mind, Endurance, and cap that stuff out as well. So how to use this build? Well, I mean, it's just a simple bleed build. You're just going to want to build up that bleed and make sure you do those chunks. Obviously, some bosses can't be bled, but with that, you know, you just might have to change up your game a little. Or power through like the main character would if you want to keep up with the character and the aesthetic as much as possible. Sometimes that stubbornness will pay off in the end. Just make sure you're using those skills, make sure you're upping that bleed and chunking away at those bosses. And with that, I hope you like the build. Let me know in the comments below what other characters I should do, and I'll do my best to make them viable.